Welcome back to the 411 Podcasting Network. I'm your host, Larry Csonka, and this is episode 74 of the 411 on Wrestling Podcast. You can follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, the 411mania.com website, and any major podcasting platform. Please make sure to subscribe to the show, share us around on social media, and if you have time, leave us a 5-star review. Joining me today is my co-host and partner in crime, Jeremy Lambert. Jeremy, how are you this evening?
Hello, I am well. I'm ready to talk about Jim Ross.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna do a Jim Ross impression on this show and forget names and just not care.
Oh boy. Jim Ross, yeah.
Okay. Jim Ross is in rare form. I mean, he's been in rare form for a lot of nights, but man, he just sounded like he did not give a fuck tonight.
All right, well, hang on. We're going to go to break. No, we're not. We're going to stay here.
Oh, my God. Yeah, he did that twice.
At least.
Yeah, it was a rough night for Jim Ross.
Good old JR. But yeah, we're going to talk AEW Dynamite, we're talking NXT TV, and then we're going to preview what we know is scheduled for TLC on Sunday this evening, Jeremy. So we will start off with AEW Dynamite as always. And let's see here. And of course, my fucking keyboard doesn't want to work, so I'm just going to hang on a second here. And I'll get it to work any second. I don't know why it does that. It's doing it to piss me off. Anyway, we'll start with AEW Dynamite for December 11th, 2019. By the way, today is my wedding anniversary.
Happy wedding anniversary. How long have you been married, Larry?
20 years, brother.
I'm so sorry.
You know my wife. You know it's a good thing. It means I've had that
I know,
sweet tea for 20 years.
Yes, that's very true. That is a very good thing. Yes, your wife is lovely, and you have 2 lovely daughters and some cats. So I'm happy that you have been married for 20 years. I hope I can achieve 20 years at least myself, but I feel like I'll make it 8 and then just give up.
Fair enough. I know I've outlasted all of our friends in college that got married around the same time. Like most of them were out in 5 years. So I'm feeling pretty good. Anyway, back to AEW. Start off with Jon Moxley arriving through the crowd to face Alex Reynolds in our opener. And I will give you a complete recap of this match. Moxley comes down, he enters the ring, the bell rings, knee trembler, dirty deeds, and it's over. Thanks for coming, Alex Reynolds. Good payday for you, brother.
That was a great match.
So his tag team partner, John Silver, entered the ring after the match, and he ate a DDT as well. And so, hey, good for you guys on the easy payday. That led to Le Champion Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle arriving, Jeremy. Jericho told Moxley to be cool. He said if they were going to jump him, they would have already done it. Put Moxley over, talked about their long history dating back about 10 years. Said Jericho gave him advice back in the day, helped him out. They became enemies. They beat the shit out of each other. And, he helped them become a star. And then years later, he navigated him to AEW, and Moxley thanked him by laying him out when he debuted. He said that shows that Moxley's still an asshole and a winner, but that he also still needs Jericho. He said, what if we joined forces? And he offered Moxley a spot in the Inner Circle, even had a shirt for him. He said, take some time to talk it over with your lovely wife and her mother, who I've both met, and we'll be waiting for you. Take your time over the holidays. He then carefully laid the shirt on his shoulders to make sure Moxley didn't beat his ass, and the Inner Circle bailed without touching Moxley. Your thoughts on our overall opening match and interview segment?
I mean, the opening match was just Moxley killing a guy, and I'm all for that. I like when Moxley kills people. The interview segment was very NWO with, the t-shirt offer, I guess maybe even Bullet Club. But yeah, it actually reminded me of Kenny Omega offering Jay White the Bullet Club spot, and then of course White took it and hit him with the Blade Runner afterwards. But the t-shirt stuff is, the joke is that they're a t-shirt company, so of course they would use a t-shirt to advance this storyline. I like that Jericho wants him on his side. Jericho is a smart man, despite sometimes coming off like a self-absorbed douchebag, but he is a smart man. He knows Moxley is better with him than against him, and the next pay-per-view, as we found out, wasn't announced. It's going to be at the end of February, like the last Saturday in February, maybe even the last day in February. And like that's a lot of time. You've got 2 months to build that thing. If you're gonna do Jericho and Moxley, you got 2 months. You gotta slow burn this. So you can't just have them brawling immediately, attacking immediately, and all this stuff. You got to do a little bit of a slow burn here. So I like the segment overall.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. And the other thing too is like people are like, oh, why does Jericho want to align? Blah blah blah. I'm like, it's a classic heel move because obviously Jericho is afraid of this man who's running wild on the promotion and killing people in 5 seconds. He has no desire to face this man, so try to bring him into your inner circle where he will, literally into your inner circle where he will not challenge you. It makes sense. I thought it came off well. I also like that Jericho smartly brought up their history together because obviously the people that watch are going to know they have a history together, and he did it without a bunch of WWE references or WWE jokes or anything. Like, he made a quick reference to hitting Moxley with crockery, which was the Mitch the Plant gimmick and stuff like that. But, like, it wasn't like a beat you over the head, hey, we feuded in WWE. WWE sucks. We're AEW, blah, blah, blah. So I appreciated that. I thought it was a good start to the show, and I also liked that it was a good way to start a show with a promo without starting a show with a promo, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. I thought the same thing that, okay, it feels like a promo thing, but it's not because technically they did start with a match. So I like that they switched that up a little bit.
Yeah. And Moxley looked like a fucking superstar coming through the crowd at the beginning. Those people were amped up to see him, too.
Moxley always comes off as a superstar. Like, this guy just is a superstar.
So, really enjoyed that. We got a video package hyping the Young Bucks versus Santana and Ortiz Texas Street Fight main event. Got a
PWG.
Yeah, a lot of PWG footage in there with Excalibur talking about their crazy guerrilla warfare matches and stuff like that.
PWG makes it onto TNT. Suck it, ROH.
Yeah, that's actually really cool when you think about it too. So
yeah, I mean it's good publicity hopefully for PWG. I mean they're still running DVD stuff, so I don't know how much they really care about it, but that's cool for them.
Next up was The Butcher and the Blade making their in-ring debut versus Cody and QT Marshall. The Butcher and the Blade ended up winning in 11 minutes and 10 seconds via pin. I found this to be surprisingly good. It's not that I think anybody is awfully bad or anything in this match, but you had The Butcher and the Blade making their national TV debut, so there could be a lot of nerves there. Cody's obviously been really good. QT Marshall's been a dude I've had like no time for over the years. Just, he's a dude, you know what I mean? And I thought he actually did really well here. I thought Cody was fired up. They had a good crowd for it. Thought the Butcher and the Blade delivered in their TV debut there in the ring. And, I mean, the heels winning the first match is pretty much always your right call because it makes the most sense. Because if the babyface wins right away, what the fuck are you supposed to do after that? It's like, it's over.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. Like, I don't think I liked it quite as much as you. A couple of things that stood out to me that I didn't like is QT Marshall is using the crossroads, and it's like, why? It's just dumb. They're gonna turn the crossroads into a super kick or a cutter pretty soon. Like Cody did that springboard cutter, and okay, it's a near fall. I mean, I don't know why I bothered to rant about that stuff anymore, but yeah, it's just don't use the cross. Like, not everyone needs to use this. QT Marshall doesn't need to use this. I thought that was just kind of dumb to have that in the match. And then QT Marshall does is, like, it looked really cool, the little springboard flip thing that he did.
He was trying a Sasuke special that came off really rough looking.
Yeah. Like as I was saying, it looked cool. The problem is he completely missed it, and it looked terrible. Though the idea was great, the execution not so much. And then at the very end, and this is a minor nitpick, but it's still like, I don't get it. Cody is taken out on the near side of the ring. They hit their little finisher on QT Marshall, and then at the end of the match, Cody is on the far side of the ring. Like, where did he go? Did he crawl around the entire ring to get over there? And if so, like why didn't he try to get into the ring to break things up? I don't know whose fault that is. Probably Cody's for just not having the recognition to, be where he was supposed to be there, because he was obviously supposed to end up at the far side for the Darby thing. But that was just a little, all right, it might be minor, but you got to pay attention to these things. But otherwise, like, it was better than I thought it was going to be, because I don't know much about anything about the Butcher and the Blade, and I don't think QT Marshall is like great. Cody is great, and like the crowd is into him no matter what, and that certainly helps that the crowd really loves Cody.
Definitely. Yeah, I thought it was good overall. Again, I'm not saying it was great, but I thought it was good. I thought the other thing, too, is like you said, too, is like, yeah, the crowd was really into it because they pretty much love everything Cody does. And as you mentioned, Darby Allin arrived after the match and came down and shook hands with Cody, so it looks like he will be a friend for Cody, which obviously Cody needs friends.
And this was the match where Jim Ross just had no damn time for the Butcher and the Blade. Excalibur is trying to, like, introduce these guys, and Jim Ross is like, it's the Butcher, it's the Blade, and you could just hear Excalibur just being like, why in the fuck did this guy cut me off to say that? And they kept confusing Allie. They called her Allie, and they're like, oh, which is the bunny? Like the commentary was kind of a mess during this and all over the place.
Yeah, it's one of those weird instances with Ross, because, like, you can tell when he's not into something, because it's not just like he sounds uninterested. He comes across with, like, fucking disdain in his voice.
It's that, and it's, like, the passive aggressiveness, especially when Excalibur is trying to explain things. Like,
job.
Ross is, yeah, like, Ross is very passive aggressive with his comments, and it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, we get what level you're on right now, Jim.
Yeah, it becomes very annoying with Jim Ross at times. At least some of the stuff he's not doing anymore, like the constant, like, and again, not that it's not a fair assessment, but like, listen, dude, if somebody's not holding a tag rope, just fuck off about it. Don't make a big deal about it and bitch about it, because nobody else is really going to notice. But yeah, he's so fucking weird sometimes. I don't know. I'd be fine with Excalibur and Tony, but yeah. So then MJF and the Wardlow came to the ring. MJF mocked a ringside dude for laughing when Cody made fun of MJF's bad crossroads the other week. He made him kiss the ring and then laid him out with the crossroads. And then basically said, hey, is that better, Cody? Did that look good? So MJF...
It did.
Yeah, it did, by the way. It looked a lot better. MJF put over Cody, but said he's better. Don't throw rocks at a man with a machine gun. He heard Cody's offer last week, but he doesn't need his crap or his money. What he does need is for Cody to suffer. Said Cody called him a knockoff Jericho, and then he ran down Cody for being the one that's fake and having a shitty little lisp. And then he even busted out like a suffering succotash to make fun of him there. He said Cody won't do anything tonight because he wants to face him so badly. He won't get him fired. And he asked the fans if they wanted MJF versus Cody. And he said, well, you guess what? Cody's on, but there's going to be stipulations. But he wasn't going to share them here in Honkyville, USA. Instead, he will give them to us in Jacksonville. So he knew Cody was watching, and he needs to realize that MJF is the one in control now. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Cody was watching. He was literally just at ringside. Like, they probably ran into each other on their way backstage.
Cody might have been skateboarding with his new friend Darby Allin.
I guess so. I actually think I like that story of Cody, because Cody apparently doesn't have friends, even though like the Elite are there, and his brother cares more about the Young Bucks than he does Cody. Apparently, like this whole Cody has no friends storyline is kind of dumb, if I'm being honest. Just because like they're not that wrapped up in other stuff. Like they can't come out and help Cody. It's kind of stupid. But anyway, the Darby Allin thing, yeah, we know Cody has a pool. It's winter. Drain the pool. Let Darby skate. Brandy's into some weird cult shit now, so Darby should fit right in there. Darby would be a great house guest, I think. I liked MJF's promo. He's really good. Like he's really, really good. maybe a tad too long. It just felt a little long, but all the content was good. So I can't even say that like it was over. It was so long that I just stopped tuning out because it wasn't. It just felt a little bit long. I felt they could have trimmed a couple things out of it. I like how AEW can get shots in at WWE without getting shots in at WWE or just referencing WWE. I don't even know if the Suffer and Succotash thing was like a direct shot. I mean, we know who says not Yosemite Sam, Sylvester. Sylvester has the lisp and everything, but it's also the Roman Reigns thing. And Jericho did the same thing with kind of referencing WWE without referencing WWE. But yeah, MJF's promo really good, and we'll see what the stipulation is in a couple of weeks.
That's right. Time for your favorite part of the show, Jeremy. We got a Dark Order video package.
Yeah.
Alex Reynolds, who lost in our opener, was sitting in his hotel room being all sad and watching the hotel infomercial channel. And basically it turned into a Dark Order infomercial asking him if he was sick of being a loser and shit like that. And it was a nice little touch. Alex Reynolds was on his phone and he was looking at like match results. It looked like cage match, and it was like a list of defeats for him and his tag team and shit like that. So that played well into that. And basically it was a recruitment angle kind of for him. And John Silver arrived and asked him who he was talking to. So Dark Order trying to recruit and grow, Jeremy.
They need to find better people. These geeks, I don't know, but I do like the Dark Order stuff. And this was another cool video package, and it looked like they got like a nice little logo and stuff now too. So I don't recall that in previous weeks. So yeah, Dark Order stuff's awesome.
Yeah, it's going along well. I like it, and it's good. They didn't kill anybody this week though, so that's your mileage may vary there, but.
You can't kill everybody every week. I mean, I know
Lucha
Moxley,
Underground did really good in the last season, dude.
Moxley kind of does it, I guess. But you gotta save some people. You can't just murder everyone.
That's right. We went back to the ring for women's action. Big Swole defeated Emi Sakura in 10 minutes and 40 seconds via pin. I thought that they had a perfectly solid wrestling match. I thought the pairing was smart because Emi Sakura is way more experienced than Big Swole, so that made a lot of sense. Big Swole recently signed, so her win made sense. But I thought it went a little too long because I felt the final couple minutes it was like really fading out and felt slightly aimless at points. But solid overall. Nothing horribly wrong with it. I just think you could have trimmed it a little bit.
I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was good. My issue remains the same with the women's division is I heard there was a great Big Swole video package on AEW Dark. I have not watched AEW Dark.
It was a great video package, I will tell you that.
Yeah, I believe it. Like everyone has said, it's a great video package. The problem is not everyone is watching AEW Dark. Like my gripe with AEW Dark is that like I don't feel a lot of those matches matter. I'm sure some of them are very good, and I know who wins them, and I don't like watch from wrestling after I like know the spoilers and the results and stuff. It's very tough for me to get into when I'm like, okay, I know this person's going to win. I'm sure the video package was great. Put it on television. Like, just let me know who Big Swole is. Right now, she's just debuting on Dynamite, and her record shows up with one win, I think, or no wins. I don't. Did she wrestle on Dark as well before the video?
She's wrestled on Dark before, yeah.
No, I know she's wrestled on Dark, but did she win this past week?
I can't even remember, which is sad because it was just yesterday, but.
Okay, so she either has one win or no win. So she's either like 1-4 or 0-4 or something. Either way, her record's not good. And then here she comes. She comes out here and she just beats the number 2 person in the division. And this is, I think I should give up on thinking these records matter. I think it is holding my enjoyment for the product back, and I'll talk about it a little bit more later. But it's just, they put these records out there. They say they matter. I truly don't think they do. And I think it's honestly, I think it's a detriment to have these records on screen because, as I've said before, you got a lot of 50-50 stuff. You got people in the top 10 who shouldn't be in the top 10. It's just, I don't think they're adding anything to the product right now.
I don't disagree, and we talked about this way before they even kicked everything off, that the win-loss record thing, in theory, is a good idea because you can do a lot with it. But you also, if you're going to do it, you really have to play into it and make it matter. And, I mean, you watch every week and you're feeling like it doesn't matter, and I've seen a lot of other people say it as well. So it's not just you. So, I mean, maybe it's just one of those things that they're working out the kinks here in the first, how many ever episodes we're getting here, 12 before they take the break, and they're allegedly resetting them at the beginning of the year. Maybe it'll be better. I don't know, but I largely agree with you. I don't think it's helping, which I think basically if you're doing something on TV and it's not helping, it's essentially hurting it because you're not adding to anything. And on the Swole video package, that's another reason I would have shortened this match. I would have shortened this match by about 2 minutes or so, and I would have aired that video package before the match. Because number one, it's really fucking good. Number two, it's the kind of thing they should be running on this show, like personality profiles. And again, to go back to your point, which is my number three, is like, who the fuck is Big Swole? And I'm not doing that like to be an asshole in one of those internet memes, what's a Big Swole, why should I care type things. But why should the people watching the show care who she is? You know, you need introductory video packages like that. So I really think they missed the mark not showing that on Dynamite, because it was really, really good.
Yeah, again, that's what I heard, but I didn't see it. So Big Swole got a good reaction. It's clear that the crowd likes her, like the AEW crowd likes her, and I think that's a good thing. But if you're looking to build more than just your AEW crowd, like you've got to introduce this stuff, because I don't think the AEW crowd's really going anywhere. So you're good there. You've got to. I know Cody is like, we want to cater to our hardcore fan base and go after the lapsed fan and, the casuals. We can try to get them as best we can, but it's like, okay, your hardcore fan base is going to be there. Like, they're going to defend just about any fucking thing you do. It's in my mentions all the time. Like, you can't criticize this company without somebody being in your mentions. Like, the hardcore fan base is fine. Just like WWE, you don't have to worry about the hardcore fan base. You got to worry about attracting the new fans or the lapsed fans or whatever.
Agreed. Yeah, and on Swole too, yeah, it's like, yeah, the hardcore audience is going to know who she is, and they're going to appreciate her, and that's going to help on TV. Like, if you're turning in and you've never seen AEW, and you see somebody that's over, that always helps, even if you don't know who they are, because, well, the crowd likes them, maybe I'll give them a chance, type of thing. But again, also, if you're airing a video package like they aired on AEW Dark, that also goes a long way, because again, if people don't know who the fuck people are, you need to learn. But yeah, she has a good look. She has good charisma. She's definitely athletic. I about died because she's done it before when she did her little James Brown spot. When she stole the mic stand from Emi Sakura. Yeah, she's done that before. But she just she's a ton of fun, and she has I don't know, like, best way is like she has like an infectious smile as well. You know what I mean? Just a lot of little things going for her, but like, and those are all great. But again, you need more than that. You need to air those videos and stuff. So, but we're to be beating that drum for a while, probably, Jeremy.
Well, hopefully the beginning of the year they reset, they see kind of what works and stuff. I mean, they got the week off for Christmas. Maybe they can tweak some things. I was promised we would get like some analytics and some advanced stats. Like, where's that stuff? I need some advanced stats.
Mookie Ghana is too busy hat shopping.
Yeah, what the fuck, Mookie? Like, I need my advanced stats.
I know. We got a Pac interview backstage that he came to AEW to dominate, but he's been disrespected, and he wants his rematch / rubber match with Kenny Omega, or else he's going to bring hell to everybody. So he was not in a great mood. He's a bastard, in fact.
I like this interview. It was good.
Oh, I know, yeah. But I love, like, just fucking surly Pac. He looks like he's never been happy a day in his life.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, which, I mean, if your nickname is the Bastard, I mean, you're probably going to be miserable most of the time.
Yeah.
So next up, we had a tag match with a little inset promo from Tully Blanchard teasing that he was looking for a tag team partner for Shawn Spears, which is why he was teaming with Kip Sabian tonight against Kenny Omega and Adam Page. Kenny Omega and Adam Page defeated Kip Sabian and Shawn Spears 11:30 via pin. Jeremy, your thoughts?
I try to like everything in wrestling. There are plenty of storylines and things I don't like. If there is one storyline that I just can already tell I'm going to hate, it is Shawn Spears' search for a partner. Who could possibly care about this guy? Who would want to be this guy's partner either? I didn't like any of this. I like the Omega and Hangman stuff. Selfish Hangman Page is awesome. They keep mentioning he left the Elite and everything, but he's still teaming with Omega. But he's looking out for number one right now. I like that I like that stuff. I think that's good. The Shawn Spears stuff, Kip Sabian, whatever. I don't know much about Kip Sabian outside of he's super bad, whatever that means. And Tully Blanchard's not by Spears' side to start the match, and he just kind of looks around. He's like, okay, guess I'm just coming out down here alone. Like, do you not care that much? Like, you talk up this dude, and then you're just whatever. You don't seem to care, and then Tully is tied up poorly, I might add, by Joey Janela. Someone needs to get him in Boy Scouts to tie some knots. So then he goes off and he leaves his partner, and Kip Sabian loses, and I just can't care about Shawn Spears and anything he does. I feel bad for Joey Janela that he's stuck in this nonsense.
Yeah, I think Spears is a perfectly solid worker, but there's nothing that makes me want to care about the guy, which is kind of the big problem.
Let's be honest. They pigeonholed him into the spot he's going to be in when they had Cody beat him. If he beats Cody, it proves he's a main event guy, and maybe you can push him a little bit. He lost to Cody, and everything Cody said about him, that he's just a solid hand, is 100% accurate.
Basically, yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to refute that. So I thought technically the work in the match was good. Sabian, Omega, and Page did a lot of really good stuff together. And you brought up the whole thing at the end was Kenny Omega ends up running wild after Janela appears with a tied up Tully Blanchard. Spears runs him off. He leaves his partner. Kenny Omega looking for the win hits the V trigger and Snapdragon, and then Adam Page just tags himself in, hits the buckshot lariat for the win. There was also points in the match too, like early on, where they would do double teams, and then Kenny Omega was all fired up and happy because he's like, "Yay, tag team wrestling!" And he's like, "Double high fives, Hangman!" And Adam Page was like, "Nah, dude, I'm just gonna go to Apron. I'm good." So definitely think that they laid the groundwork and teases for the Adam Page heel turn coming up.
Yeah, I like the Hangman and Omega stuff. I think that's good. I do not care about anything Shawn Spears does.
Yeah. Speaking of not caring, Brandy Rhodes cut a really stupid promo about the women's division. Blah, 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 blah. Riho's small. Britt Baker's a dentist and has a boyfriend. Blah, blah, blah. She still wants Chris Statlander in her little group, and she had a creepy new bald person sitting in a chair.
This was so dumb. I get it sets up Statlander and Baker for next week a little bit, but the dumb part about this was it was clearly a pre-tape, and they somehow left in this bit of, oh, and she has a boyfriend. I know I talk about my husband. What? You clearly just refuted your own point by bringing up that she has this boyfriend, and then you're like, oh well, oh yeah, I know you're gonna say that I talk about my husband, but we've been married for this long. Okay, why does that make it any better? They're in love just as much as you guys are in love. This promo was not good at all.
I have no time for the Brandy Rhodes stuff. I will, on a positive note, I will say something positive in closing. Brandy Rhodes is a very pretty lady.
Yeah. I don't know who her little bald dude is. Maybe that's what's in Eric Rowan's cage as well. This Brandy Cole thing sucks.
Yeah, not good. Chris Jericho and Jake Hagar ran out to take over commentary. They joined JR, kicking out Excalibur, and as Jericho reminded us, Schiavone, because Excalibur was making fun of him for using Lexicon last week, and Schiavone has been giving him trouble for 25 years. Which I did laugh at, and the fact that he still does the Schiavone thing. That's all. Just a little throwback stuff that makes me laugh. So he was out for
Jericho's a throwback, just a throwback person altogether.
Yeah. So that leads us to our next match they were out doing commentary for, which was the Luchasaurus defeating Sammy Guevara in 6.5 minutes via pin. They had a solid little wrestling match. Luchasaurus looking a little slow. I don't really think he's fully recovered yet. Sammy always working hard, looks really good in everything he does, but lost again, unfortunately. The whole thing was to set up a post-match brawl and stuff so that they could set up the match next week with Jungle Boy and Jericho. And that's fine. It was solid. It wasn't bad. It's just, you have Sammy losing again, and it's one of those things to where it's like, obviously you don't want Luchasaurus losing already, so you need to put someone else out there instead of having Sammy lose again, because Sammy feels like he's 0-100 at this point.
And he pretty much is. At least I don't think he's won a singles match. He got some tag victories with Jericho, but I thought Sammy's offense looked kind of rough. Like even in the end set, like he did some spinning heel kick that just didn't look too great, and some of the top rope stuff didn't really connect. Yeah, and Luchasaurus, as you said, looked kind of slow. I didn't really care for this match. It was a backdrop to set up the post-match stuff. Sammy, I obviously I see big potential in him. I think he is a really well-rounded performer, and he's young, and he's someone you can potentially build around long-term. Right now he's Brandon Cutler, and that was kind of confirmed in the main event. So if you just look at Sammy as Brandon Cutler, then hey, he's doing his job just fine. If you look at Sammy as someone with potential who you should maybe protect a little bit more, then it is upsetting.
Yeah, and that's again where the wins and loss things comes in, because you're constantly reminded that he's a big loser.
Yeah, and they're trying to say, back on the wins and loss stuff, like they're trying to say, oh, some wins are more important than others, and like that's how you move up the rankings and get title shots and stuff. Like, I don't think a win against Sammy Guevara is meaningful in any way right now. Honestly, I don't think any of the wins on this show outside of Big Swole and the main event, like Moxley beating nobodies, doesn't matter. Blade and the Butcher beating QT Marshall. I know Cody was in the match, but so maybe that helps a little bit, but beating QT Marshall doesn't matter.
Listen, just because Moxley scheduled Appalachian State in the opener doesn't make him a bad guy, okay?
Like, they're just beating guys who always lose anyway, so that's fine, but this is the thing with the record stuff. Like, if you just don't tell me these guys are 0-6 and or 1-5, then I'm more apt to just be like, all right, cool, he beat someone really quickly. Instead, you're reminding me that this guy's already a loser, so what's it matter if he beats him?
Yeah. During the little post-match brawl, they did a gimmick part where Jungle Boy cradled Jericho, and Marco Stunt counted the visual pin as the big hype for next week, which Jericho was greatly ranting about afterwards that it didn't count.
Yeah, and we found out, I mean, we were confused as fuck last week over, is this a title match? What is going on?
Well, because they weren't clear last week. That's why we were confused.
Yeah, I know. But don't tell that to Cody. Cody was like, it was made clear. Like, dude, no, it wasn't. Like, it said on your website he had to defend the title. So it clearly was not clear, because we both pay attention to this show and we could not figure it out. It's a 10-minute challenge. It's a non-title match. It's a 10-minute challenge. So nobody can complain about records since Jungle Boy doesn't have a win. And people still try. Like, this is the thing with defending AEW. People were still like, well, the champion challenged him, so who cares about records? Like, okay, cool. Then don't tell me records are a big deal. If the champion can just challenge anybody he wants, fuck, good for the champion. I'd be challenging Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt and all these losers as well. Fuck, actually defending the title against someone good.
Yeah, but it was not clear, Cody. Sorry, brother.
It wasn't at all.
Because I remember, because last week we talked about it heavily. Last week, I thought it was going to be a 10-minute challenge. because that's what it felt like. But then again, to you, it felt more like they were setting up a title match, which I going back and watching the segment, I fully understood afterwards why you would think that, because it was not clear in any fucking way possible.
Yeah, and then we checked the website, and it said he was forced to defend the title one more time this year. So when's he defending the title? It wasn't clear at all. I don't care what Cody says. I'm glad it got... Even on Dark, I heard that Tony Schiavone said it was a title match. So Schiavone was fucking confused.
Everybody was confused, dude. So they then announced on February 29th, AEW will return to pay-per-view with Revolution in Chicago, which is when they're doing the video game convention dealie that weekend.
I love Chicago.
Yeah. I feel that they missed out on not calling the pay-per-view Lethal Leap Year.
That would have been a good name.
So, but yeah, going back to Chicago because they're already doing the video game daily. So, obviously not running the Sears Center, they're running a smaller venue. So, with the convention in town and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure they'll fill the building because it's not huge or anything. But yeah, I probably wouldn't have gone back to Chicago, but it makes sense now why MLW moved their February 28th show or 29th show.
Oh, yeah, they did push their shit back, so they should have just ran joint show.
Yeah.
They got crossover talent.
There you go. They announced next week Adam Page and Kenny Omega will face the Lucha Brothers, Jericho versus Jungle Boy in the 10-minute challenge, and Dr. Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander in a number one contenders match.
I'm fine with the Hangman Omega. The tag team match is good. The Jericho match we talked about. The Baker Statlander one is a little odd because, again, if you're going by rankings, they're the 4 and 5 ranked contenders. So yeah. Why are they facing in a number one contender match? And I guess it's because Sheeta's number one and she just lost, but still she's still ranked number one. Yeah, she should be in this match, I feel like, to get the title shot. Nyla is second, so
but she's suspended for the rest of the year.
Well, I guess she got suspended for the rest of 2018, Larry, not 2019. All right, at least that does make sense of why she isn't there. Emmy just lost, so I assume she's going to get dropped down in the rankings. I really, really hope that Emmy gets dropped to 5th, and then because Baker is 4th and Statlander is 5th. So if you have Baker at 3 and Statlander at 4, okay, it makes a little more sense since Nyla's suspended, but Sheeta is why isn't she in this match? She was shown ringside watching the Big Swole match too. She's chilling out at ringside, which is, I guess, their gimmick instead of having them stand awkwardly backstage and looking at the monitor.
At a very weird angle.
Yeah.
They're trying to prevent neck injuries through that.
Yeah, everyone's they just reserve a couple of seats ringside and then just chauffeur in whoever is important for the match to be viewing it.
So the main event was the Texas Street Fight between the Young Bucks, Santana, and Ortiz, which was also announced as a number one contenders match with the winners facing SCU next week for the tag titles.
Which is fine. They're both these are the top 2 teams on the power rankings thing, so that's cool.
So Texas Street Fight started off with the big brawl at the beginning with Santana and Ortiz tacking. Brandon Cutler, Sammy Guevara was out with him. Brandon Cutler tried to even the odds. He got killed via powerbomb through the stage. They beat the shit out of each other. We got a big swanton table spot up there on the ramp with Nick and stuff. They eventually worked into the ring. SCU was at ringside. So basically, went 14 and a half minutes. The Young Bucks defeated Santana and Ortiz. I thought it was a really good plunder-style brawl that played to the stipulation well. And then, in the middle of the match, Jake Hager got involved. Dustin ran him off, so it advances that match, which they seem to be building to after Hager broke his arm. So I thought it was really good. But I don't think it was, perfectly done by any means, because I think that the Bucks win would have meant a lot more if Santana and Ortiz hadn't already lost to Private Party the other week. And I also felt it was a little too soon to give the Young Bucks their win back over Santana and Ortiz.
It feels too soon for the Young Bucks to kind of just be challenging for the titles. Like, remember when they had lost? They lost to the Lucha Bros, and they lost to Santana and Ortiz, and they lost the Private Party in the first round of the tournament, and now they're like challenging. Like, who have the Young Bucks beaten outside of Santana and Ortiz? I really don't recall any of their wins.
I know they had a win or two on Dark, but again, that's not really explaining it to the regular fan who doesn't watch Dark. So
yeah, yeah, it's I don't know. Like I get it. They're the Young Bucks. They're the most popular tag team in the division. I don't know if they're gonna win the titles. Maybe SCU ends up beating them, but it felt like you had something early with Santana and Ortiz, and then putting them in the inner circle seemed like a big boost. And then like they're losing a Private Party. Now they've lost this number one contenders bout, and it's like, okay, it's the Young Bucks. It's cool, but it's not something that really excites me, because it seemed like, you know, the Young Bucks are saying like, oh yeah, we tell Tony like we want to lose, and so who's pushing them then? Tony, and I guess Tony wants to push them. Like, fine, but I don't know, the Young Bucks stuff. Like, I have a bigger issue with that than like Cody doing it, because like Cody gets these like monster reactions, like the biggest star on the show. The Young Bucks, and I don't know if there's like that kind of depth at the single spot as there is at the tag team spot, because there's really no one hotter than Cody. Like, Santana and Ortiz felt hotter than the Young Bucks. Private Party, when they beat them, felt hot, and the Young Bucks are just like, they're hot because they're the Young Bucks. They're not like actually hot to me.
I think that's fair. I think the match with SCU will be really good, possibly great, because they've worked together a ton. But again, like I said, I just think it was too soon for them to get their win back over Santana and Ortiz. I just, and again, I still, and everybody's like, well, it was a tribute match for their friends and blah, blah, blah. I still didn't like Private Party beating Santana and Ortiz, and this kind of just really reaffirms that to me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you. Like, this would have felt bigger if Santana and Ortiz were undefeated, and if they were undefeated, I probably just wouldn't have said, well, just have them fucking win this match and give them the title shot.
Yeah, which would have made sense. So that was AEW Dark for the week. We'll talk overall show quality a little later when we do our head-to-head comparison, Jeremy. We now need to move on to NXT TV, also for December 11th, 2019. Started off with a video package kind of recapping everything for tonight's main event. Adam Cole interrupted, said tonight's main event was a joke because none of these guys have earned their shot, and the winner's only punching a ticket for them to lose to him next week. Opening match.
Agreed with Adam Cole.
Well, I mean, Adam Cole speaks the truth. First up, NXT Cruiserweight Championship match. Angel Garza defeated Lio Rush in 15-15 via submission, Jeremy. Your thoughts, sir?
This match fucking ruled. I loved this match. I like the intricacies with the kind of counters, because they know each other, they've studied each other, they've wrestled each other, so they kind of knew what was coming and everything. Garza with the ripping off the pants to get out of shit. Like, this match had just a little bit of everything. Lio Rush is great. He's always been great. I'm glad that he seems to be sort of over the attitude stuff and whatnot, because he's done awesome in NXT. And Angel Garza, like, that guy looks like a star, carries himself like a star. He's very much cruiserweight Andrade, which, I mean, Andrade is kind of a cruiserweight, but he is just a guy that just has that star quality about him. And yeah, this match, I can't say enough good things about it. I'm fine with the title switch, because Lio Rush had a nice little run, but I hate to say this, I don't think titles are like that important in NXT, at least not the cruiserweight title yet. It just it feels like a title that's just going to be like, okay, any given wrestler can beat any given wrestler on any given night, and that's okay. Like I'm fine with that title. It does feel like a title of, hey, this is the best cruiserweight, and he could potentially lose on this night instead of, because all of these guys are that good. Instead of like, all right, we need to establish a real dominant champion to get this title established and stuff. So I think it works for the cruiserweight division.
I'm fine with the title change too, because the big thing with Leo was the fact that he kind of got a redemption story, because the NXT fans are your online fans, and they knew that he was having troubles and he was out for a while, and he came back to like a hero's welcome. He got the big title win. He got some run with it. He did really well, and he seems to be back and happy and everything, and I think that's great. And I thought this was a great opener. Thought both guys were great here. The crowd was into it. It had a really good intensity playing off of their established feud already, and we got the big title change. Excuse me. And thought it was a really great way to kick off the show, because it was not just great action, but it kind of felt like, hey, this was important. We built to this. Here's your title change.
Yeah, this was a great opener, and spoiler, my favorite match on the night.
There you go. We got a Rhea Ripley, Shayna Baszler video package, and there's going to be a Prime Target special next Tuesday. The last Prime Target special was for Tyler Bate and Walter, and it was fucking awesome, so I'm actually looking forward to that.
These video packages, they did one on Rhea later on and stuff. They are so good. Like, so good. Like, this is what, AEW apparently does on AEW Dark, but they should be doing on their television. Like, NXT fans know who Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler are. Like, these video packages maybe aren't like super necessary, because we kind of know who they are. We know their motivations. We've been following them for weeks, months, years, but they still do them to like further detail this stuff. This match feels so big too, like huge, in the words of our fucking president. I cannot wait for this match. I think it should headline next week. I doubt it will over Cole and Finn Balor, but it feels so much bigger than that match. I cannot wait for this match next week.
Yeah, I'm sure that special will be really good too. For all the, for lack of a better word, bitching a lot of us will do about WWE, one thing we never dog them on is like these fucking like specials and these video packages, because these things are always so good.
No, they're fantastic at putting together. Like, they have so much content. This is the issue, is that they put this stuff on YouTube a lot of times, or the network, and it's like, why isn't some of this stuff like making it on television? This stuff is so, like, the WWE 24 stuff, the WWE Day of stuff, the 365, whatever. It's like all the same gimmick, but just under a different name. Like, all that stuff is just awesome. It's like, why isn't some of this stuff like on television? Because this is really fucking good.
Yeah, I agree. It is. So got a Finn Balor promo. He was basically annoyed with Regal because he has to come back and prove himself again and earn a title shot. Ran down Ciampa and Lee and said his future will be his past next week. And then during the break, we got footage of Angel Garza proposing to his girlfriend in the ring, and she accepted. So good for that, man.
Yeah,
big night for him.
Cool. Yeah, she pulled him off the market, man. Or he pulled himself off the market.
That's right.
Angel Garza could have had anyone he wanted. He tied himself down. I appreciate his commitment to the marital bliss.
There you go. Not Alexa Bliss. Don't get confused.
No, definitely marital bliss. I mean, if he wanted Alexa Bliss, though, that's a good-looking man, Angel Garza.
Yeah, I mean, Nigel will tell you so.
Yeah, I'll tell you so. Like, yeah, and I'm comfortable enough in my heterosexuality to say Angel Garza is a good-looking man.
Well, there you go. I'm happy for you. Anyway, we went back to the ring. Raul Mendoza defeated Cameron Grimes in 1:15 because Kushida came out and distracted Grimes, and Mendoza hit a Hurricane Rana into a cradle for the win. I know
hit him with the Jungle Boy finish.
Yeah, I know it's a distraction. I really hate these kind of losses. I think Grimes should have been booked against somebody he could beat. I know it's continuing Kushida and Grimes, but it's not exactly exciting to me. And, like, the big gimmick for the feud now is that Kushida stole his fucking hat.
Well, I'd be pissed too if someone stole my hat, especially a hat as awesome as the hat Cameron Grimes has.
Oh, come on now.
That's a sweet fucking hat. What are you talking about?
The hat's fine, but give me a little something more than that, you know?
Yeah, I didn't like Cameron Grimes losing either. Like, he should have just beat the dude. Okay. Like, and then in the middle of his finish, like, Kushida steals the hat or whatever. But, or, you know, he kicks out and Kushida, like, steals the hat and then he still beats him or something. Either way, Cameron Grimes should have won this match, but he didn't. The stuff with the hat, I think, is hilarious. I don't know if, maybe you can build this feud a little bit better, but whatever. This hat's going to get over.
Well, maybe it will. Who knows? Got a Mia Yim promo backstage talking about Dakota Kai taking her out of War Games. And that their match tonight will not be a wrestling match. It's going to be a fight, and Dakota will take a ride in an ambulance. And she kind of wasn't lying. It was a good promo. She wasn't lying.
Yeah, it was a good promo, too.
Yeah. I will get a video for Travis Banks. He will represent NXT UK in the upcoming Worlds Collide preview match, which saw Travis Banks defeating Jackson Ricker of the fucking Forgotten Sons at 245 via pin.
Good. I'm fine with Travis Banks. Get the Forgotten Sons off my television.
It was short. It was a fine little hype for Worlds Collide, and it definitely did not need to be any longer.
Yeah.
But that was one of those instances where, like, you want to talk about momentum of a show grinding to a halt. Here's the Forgotten Sons. It's like...
They suck.
Yeah. Next up, we had our Dakota Kai versus Mia Yim match, where Dakota Kai ended up winning in 10 minutes via pin after she exposed the buckle and ran Mia into it. Thought they had a good little match, nice intensity to it that played off of their established feud, but we were not done yet, Jeremy, because after the match, Mia Yim does not take the loss well. She attacked Dakota, beat her ass, took her up into the tech area, and then hit like a fucking backdrop driver through a table on the floor. They missed one of the tables, and I thought Dakota almost died, but yeah, a little bit rough, but it came off really well.
Match was good, and Dakota winning was obviously the right call. You can't beat her this early in her heel turn, and she uses heel tactics to win, so I can always appreciate that. Mia Yim, I don't think, loses anything by losing this match, especially with the post-match attack, because Mia Yim was like, it was just something Austin Aries talked about in his interview with Chris Van Vliet, where he's like, I don't want to come off as a liar on television. So, you know, he thought he was going to beat John Morrison, Johnny Impact, at Bound for Glory, because that was apparently the plan for months out. So every time on television, Aries would be like, I'm going to beat you, I'm going to beat you. Had he known that he was going to lose that match, he would have said something like, I'm going to embarrass you, because you can embarrass somebody while still losing. So to transition this back to NXT, Mia Yim says, you know, I'm going to take you out on an ambulance. And okay, like, Mia Yim didn't win, but she did take her out on an ambulance. Like, it's very it's a fine detail like that I can appreciate.
Yeah, and she also said it would be more of a fight than a match, which it basically was. So.
Yeah, so again, Mia's promo looks even better in hindsight, and like this whole angle and segment was really good.
Got a good Keith Lee video package hyping up tonight's main event. Next up, Breezango defeated the Singh brothers at 14-15 via pin. It's like, I cannot escape these guys and fucking Arya Daivari, man.
Well, you shouldn't. The Singh brothers are Bollywood superstars.
They're fucking horrible. I hate them.
Breezango were doctors this week.
Yeah, and they were like the only good thing in the match.
Well, that's half the match is good then.
It was okay. It wasn't bad, but like the match was okay. It was short. The right team won. Fandango looks like all fired up and happy to be in NXT, so I like that too, because he looks like he's having a good time.
I think both of them are. Like,
yeah.
Xavier's hurt now, so Xavier can just go down to the PC for however long and just play video games with Breeze all day. So, yeah, I think they're both just very excited to be there, collecting probably still main roster checks. I know Breeze is still getting paid really well, and I mean, it sucks that Xavier's hurt. He's awesome, but the fact that he's going to be spending more time at the PC, like, that's good for Tyler Breeze, because Breeze, Xavier wanted Breeze on the same roster as him for the longest fucking time because for the up, down, down stuff, and now he can just go there whenever he wants and play video games.
There you go. Got a really good Rhea Ripley video package, which he brought up earlier, hyping the match for next week. So, like that a lot. And then next up, Bianca Belair defeated Kaden Carter at 450 via pin. Another short, okay match. Bianca looks great. She looks like a star still. They just need a direction for her going forward.
Yeah, the heel turn stuff was good. She was part of War Games, and that almost seems forgotten right now. What sucks for Bianca is, the women's division is so good right now, and the direction at the top is so strong. I mean, the Ripley and Baszler stuff is, maybe the best stuff they're doing in the entire company, including Raw and SmackDown.
You can definitely make an argument for that. I would not argue with you over it.
Yeah, even the Dakota Kai stuff is excellent as well. So you're already pulling basically everyone from the War Games match right there. So it kind of leaves Bianca out a little bit. Candice is still there, tied with Dakota Kai. Io is still around. There's so much depth in this division that you can still stand out, but there's only so much time that you can be involved in a meaty story, and they've got two really meaty stories going on right now, and so it hurts somebody like Bianca, but it is good that she's on television and getting some wins.
Exactly. Again, she looked really good there, and just I hope that they lock her into some kind of direction. It doesn't even have to be a really deep story or anything. Just give her a direction. It can be as simple as, I'm going to keep beating motherfuckers till I get another title shot.
I
just
feel
vocalize that.
Right. I feel like that's the way they're going. She's the EST. I think she'll just kind of keep beating some people and just kind of proving why she's the best and stuff. And then somebody will step up and challenge her or something. It's a very basic story, but it works.
Yeah. Adam Cole arrived. And then we got a good Tommaso Ciampa video package to set up our main event, which was Finn Balor versus Keith Lee versus Tommaso Ciampa. Number 1 contenders match with the winner facing Adam Cole next week for the NXT Championship. Finn Balor won the match at 18:10 via pin. Overall, I thought it was a great match. I thought everybody got to shine a little bit. Everybody delivered. They had a good crowd for it. 99 times out of 100, I absolutely hate the stealing the pin finish in a triple threat match. But this one was really good because Keith Lee hit a moonsault for a near fall. Then he hit the spirit bomb on Ciampa. And as he was going for the pin out of the spirit bomb, Finn Balor just fucking flew in out of the heavens and double stomped his face in so he could win. So I thought the finish came off really well. I thought it was a great main event overall.
I didn't even think it was a stealing of the pin, because when I think of that, I think of, one guy hit his finisher and then the other guy tossed that guy out of the ring and then pinned the guy who got hit with the finisher. That's what I think of when I think stealing the pin. Balor hit his damn move here. He killed the man with the coup de grace. So I just thought Balor was he bided his time. He waited to where he could hit his move, and then he won with his move. So I didn't think it was stealing the pin at all. That was a great match. I'm fine with Balor being the victor here. Ciampa, I feel like that's you can slow burn that a little bit, and I don't even mind that Ciampa lost to Balor, and then he loses the triple threat match. You can kind of play into okay, is he still that same kind of badass that he was? Maybe you can play a doubt a little bit. Keith Lee had a ton of momentum coming out of Survivor Series, and then with the pounce, I do worry that they almost cut that off a little bit. I don't think it's fully gone or anything like that, but by having him lose here and lose in that tag team, he didn't lose in the tag team match, but his team did. Losing in that tag team match, like you've kind of not capitalized maybe the way you could have capitalized. I'm gonna trust that they're telling a longer term story there, but there was certainly some momentum there that I feel has been lost. But Balor and Adam Cole makes a lot of sense because of even just their recent history of what they've been doing is since Balor came back to NXT. Like when Balor confronted him his first night back, and then everything after that. So I do think they did strike while it's kind of hot with Balor. That maybe the problem is like they just had 3 hot acts and only one could get the title match, and they just went with Balor.
Yeah, I agree with the momentum thing. It worries me a little bit. I'm hoping that they don't forget that, because the other thing is Keith Lee did pin Roderick Strong prior to War Games. So hopefully they can transition him into a North American title feud to kind of keep him in a main type of gimmick there. And yeah, I think they're still doing the long play for the Ciampa match over Mania weekend. So going with Finn now is fine. So next week, Jeremy, we have 2 title matches for NXT TV. We got Rhea and Shayna. We got Adam Cole and Balor. Are you going with the title change in the women's match and Cole retaining, or what are you going for? Because that's what I'm feeling.
I would be stunned if Rhea Ripley doesn't win. Absolutely stunned. And not even like a good kind of stunned where, it's like a quick knockout in a fight and you're like, oh shit, like that just happened, but it was still cool. Like, I think it would be just a blown opportunity if Rhea Ripley doesn't win. She is red fucking hot right now in front of that Full Sail crowd as well. Like, she will come off as the biggest star in the business if they put the title on her next week. I can't imagine them not doing it. I would, again, I'd be stunned, and I think it would just be the wrong call. Like, you always pick against Shayna, and Shayna always wins. So maybe you should pick Shayna in this match. But like, I sort of agree that it was good that they held the title on Shayna for so long, because people thought she should have lost to Bianca, people thought she should have lost to Io, people thought she should have lost to Candice, and it's like all those wins now become even more impactful. But now you've got Rhea Ripley, who is like the person to do it. Bianca, Candice, Io, like they had some momentum. They had some good momentum. They didn't have momentum like this. Like no one has had momentum like this. They cannot screw this up by having Shayna win.
I think it would be a huge mistake if Shayna won, because you kind of floundered the Keith Lee momentum coming out of Survivor Series weekend, and Rhea has even more momentum than he did. Came out of that weekend as a big star.
I mean, Rhea wrestled Becky. She beat Charlotte. She beat Shayna, and she beat Sasha. Like, that was her week. Exactly. That's a pretty good week.
You can't get much better than that in WWE in the whole women's thing. So it's like, I think you have to go with the title change. I think, again, I just think it would be a huge mistake because you can't hold it off. I think trying to hold it off to February is just a absolutely horrible mistake to hold it to a takeover. Because as you said, I mean, Rhea, it has all the momentum. She feels like a big star. And I do think that title win will get over absolutely huge in Full Sail.
Oh, 100%. Like the crowd's going to go nuts for that title win.
So
they cannot screw this up. They just can't. If they do, I don't know. Like, I'm not giving up on NXT, but it's a black mark on them if they screw this up.
So I agree. Rhea should win. And is Adam Cole retaining?
I'm a little torn. Like, I wouldn't hate a Balor win. This is one where I don't think they can do any wrong. where Shayna and Rhea, I think Shayna would just be wrong to win. If Finn Balor wins, I think you have plenty of options going with him. If Adam Cole retains, like, you still have options with Adam Cole. With the Balor stuff, like, you kind of got the feud with Ciampa right there, because Ciampa's going to be hot regardless. You've got the feud with Gargano whenever he returns. Like, that feud might not need a title, but it can boost that a little bit. And Gargano chasing the title is just the easiest story in the world to tell. So there's plenty of options no matter who they go with. So I'm not pressed either way on who wins this match.
Yeah, I could see it possibly happening. I don't think it is, though, but I could see it. And, maybe even if it's just a short run through February for Finn, it would be... I think that's not a horrible call, but, I mean, we'll see what happens. I think Cole's going to retain. I'll be interested to see how they do it. Definitely looking forward to the match, and obviously 2 very strong matches for next week, set in stone. So, overall comparison for the evening, Jeremy. How did you see the action stacking up for December 11th?
I preferred NXT this week. They had the better match. I always go match and segment, and in this case, the Leo and Garza match was my favorite match. Segment was... I like the MJF segment the best on the 2 shows, but I also really like the Dakota Kai, Mia Yim, when you combine everything with that segment. And then kind of a tiebreaker would be the triple threat match, which I think was the second best match of the week. So yeah, I liked NXT better this week. Again, AEW, great show, but I'm going NXT.
Fair enough. I thought it was extremely close this week. I thought Dynamite was a good show that felt really consistent throughout in terms of the wrestling. I thought they continued a lot of angles, and they did a good job of setting up matches for next week, including a tag title match. Plus, we had the good promo work from MJF and Jericho. So, good show, definitely. I thought NXT, also a good show this week. NXT, for me, shined in terms of they had the better top-tier wrestling in terms of their opener and their main event. And I really liked the Mia Yim Dakota Kai stuff. But outside of the Mia Yim Dakota Kai stuff, I found the middle of the show a little kind of meandering and aimless. You had the Raul Mendoza, Cameron Grimes, Kushida stuff, the Travis Banks, Jackson Ricker stuff, Breezango into Sings, and Bianca and Caden Carter, which there was nothing obviously actively wrong with these matches. They were just sort of there. And they didn't do a lot for me, and so that kind of, not necessarily hurt the show, but kind of took away from my interest a little bit. I think, again, NXT had the really strong and great opener and main event. Overall, I think I would give AEW a very, very, very slight edge this week, but both good shows. As every Wednesday, they're pretty much either good to great shows. So no major complaints from me, but I am going AEW.
Who's going to win the ratings?
Yeah, I don't know anymore, man. I feel like I'm just horrible at trying to predict ratings trends.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel the same way, that you're horrible at it.
Fuck you.
I think it's going to be AEW.
Probably. You're acting like you're so much better at it.
I'm not. I wanted to make the joke that I feel you're bad at it, but really, I don't think I'm good at it either. But I think it's gonna be AEW. The only weeks they've really lost were when WWE brought in all the WWE guys, the Raw and SmackDown people, and then the Thanksgiving stuff, which we found out was just, it seemed to be a Thanksgiving thing and not just AEW's ran off a bunch of viewers. So until NXT can kind of win a week, then I'm gonna stick with AEW. But it was close last week, and NXT is certainly catching up in the marathon.
And they're doing well because, again, they've set up, even with just the 2 matches announced, that's a strong lineup to build on next week.
Yeah, they had matches announced for this week as well. I thought their announced lineup was better than AEW's announced lineup. Like that triple threat match was, that was announced last week, and it's like, oh shit, like that's a big match. Garza and Leo was announced last week. Like that was a big match. Dakota and Mia was announced, and that was a big match. AEW really the only, like, they had the street fight announced, and then they just made a number one contenders match the night of the Cody, QT Marshall, Blade, and Butcher. Like that's, I can't imagine many people like being super excited for that. And I think that was really the only two matches announced a week out. And then they added the Omega Hangman match like 2 hours before the show started. And it's like, okay. But yeah, like the match lineup was certainly much better for NXT this week heading into the show.
I definitely think if it's close again this week, like really close like it was last week, I definitely think NXT has a shot next week because of those two title matches.
Yeah, AEW is loading up kind of next week too, though. Like they
are, but I mean,
strong matches.
There are some people that will look at the NXT title matches though and may value that a little more. But yeah, I mean, AEW, I mean, they're not putting on a dog of a show or anything. They got, good stuff set up as well, but it'll be really interesting. I'm kind of fascinated as this all plays out, but we shall see, Jeremy. But yeah, I mean, I think AEW probably does win this week. I don't know. I don't have any like big epiphanies to make about it, so.
Okay.
All right, moving on, Jeremy. We already previewed stuff earlier in the week. We have a busy weekend. We have ROH Final Battle is Friday, which we talked about already in our last episode. NWA Into the Fire, which we also already talked about. Tonight, we will preview what we know is on tap for WWE TLC 2019, taking place Sunday night, Jeremy. Are you excited at all for this show?
Not right now. I'm fucking tired.
I don't want to hear it. You're lucky I separated these shows. You were like, oh, I'm going to be up late. I'll be fine. Yeah.
I got to get up in an hour to take my wife to the airport. I'm fucking, 2 hours, so I'd like at least like an hour power nap or something. It's a fine show. Like it's whatever. Like, am I really excited for it? I think there's some good matches that I can get excited for, but it's nothing like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really excited for this match. There's one match that I'm like excited for. I don't think the build has been like, it's kind of been a mess, but I'm still excited for it.
I will say there are two matches on this show I'm actually really looking forward to, but we will talk about this whole card. Starting off with the Viking Raiders issuing an open challenge for the Raw Tag Team titles.
It's going to be answered by the Good Brothers, and the Viking Raiders are going to win.
That is actually my thoughts exactly, because the Good Brothers won the biggest and bestest tag team gauntlet match at Saudi Mania, beating the Viking Raiders. So it makes sense for them to revisit this and the Viking Raiders to get a little revenge. Next up, it's not Lana on a pole, but it is a tables match, Lashley versus Rusev. To be completely honest, I don't care about this match at all.
This angle sucks.
Yeah, the feud has been horrible. I love Rusev, but he's a guy that's been horribly mishandled for what seems like years. You know, he's had good matches. He's gotten himself over, but they don't know what to do with him when he gets to that point. You know, Lashley is a beast. The dude looks great. He has that MMA background. He could have been a guy that they could have really done a lot of big stuff with, but they just brought him in as another dude. He's a guy, he's there, he's in this horrible angle, and it feels like eons ago since he was the guy in TNA having really good matches and like felt like a star. You know?
Yeah. When Lashley returned, everyone was like, "Oh man, I know his WWE run didn't end all that well, and like he didn't seem like he was doing that well. But did you see his TNA stuff? Like he was awesome." And so when he came back to WWE, people were like, "He's gonna be great. Like just watch his TNA stuff." And like he hasn't done anything in WWE. And I'm with you on Rusev. He gets himself over on everything, which is a testament to him. But they don't know what they're doing with him. They put him in this storyline. I like that he like just makes a joke out of this storyline. He's like, yeah, I realize this shit's kind of dumb, but I'm gonna make the most of it. out of it, and I can appreciate Rusev for that. I think Lashley wins because like Lana interferes or something. I have no idea.
In my heart, I pray and hope that this is a one-off and Rusev wins, so we can all move on. But that seems
They're gonna turn Lana. They're gonna do the Punk and Bryan spot where Lana pushes them both through the table.
Well, there you go. If you get that right, you can take a big victory lap Sunday night.
That's my official prediction. Lana pushes them both through the table, and she's just like, I'm not anybody's sex addict or sex toy or anything like that. I'm an independent, strong female. You're not going to lock me in a shark cage, and I am here to take over. Boom. Book it.
There you go. I mean, yeah, I think Lashley's going to end up winning, and they're going to continue this on through eternity. So... But let's talk about good things, Jeremy.
Which sounds like a real divorce.
Yeah. Let's talk about good things. Aleister Black versus big match Buddy Murphy.
I mean, yeah, I'm excited. It should be good. It's just Aleister Black just feels like a guy right now who they don't really know what to do with. So he's like getting people to knock at his door. It's kind of dumb. And Buddy was like cool when he beat Bryan, and then he was off TV for a while, and then he just came back and he knocked on Alistair's door. Like, I like both guys. I think both guys are great. I think this will be a really good match, even if they only get like 8 minutes, because they can work a nice little sprint. But I'm not like enamored with either guy's character, so I'm not like, oh yeah, really can't wait for this match.
Sure, the booking around them sucks, but I do think they'll have a really good, possibly great match. Looking forward to it.
They get like 6 minutes, and then it's like, oh shit, that sucked.
Well, if it gets more than that, it's going to be great. But I have Aleister Black winning.
Yeah, I think Black wins. Again, you give them 8 minutes, it'll be good. Anything over 8 minutes, it'll be more than good.
We have the New Day defending against the Revival for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. It's not the freshest of matches. You know, they've done it before. They've done it on SmackDown. At the very least, I think it will be good. It could be great because New Day are over. They deliver on pay-per-view, and we know that the Revival are still a great tag team despite their completely inconsistent booking. So we'll see what happens here. I think they'll be out to try to steal the show if they get the time. Because it's not the most loaded of cards, so hopefully they get a little bit of time, like Murphy and Black. Hopefully they get a lot of time. I could definitely see a title change coming because the whole New Day title run really feels like, hey, Kofi, we're sorry we jawed you in 5 seconds to Brock, and you guys are still over, so we need you on TV. So I could definitely see them losing. Plus, you have Heavy Machinery and Ali and Gable coming together as babyface tag teams. They could have matches with the Revival. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either way, but I'll actually pick the Revival to win here.
It'll be a good match because both teams are really good. I did like Revival's promo on SmackDown. I thought that was a really good promo. I don't care about this match. I feel like I've seen it a million times. And okay, it's good just about every time. It could probably be better just about every time. It's just, I don't need to see this anymore. I'm with you. I think Revival wins just because WWE likes to hot potato a lot of these titles and make Reigns feel kind of... A Revival would be like 4-time tag team champions, right? 4 or 5 times, however many times they won the title. I can't tell you like a memorable run that they actually had where it's like, oh man, remember that hot Revival feud for the tag team titles? It's just like they win them, they maybe win a couple of matches, and then they lose them, and the cycle repeats itself. Like, that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah, hard to disagree with that. Next up, Bray Wyatt versus The Miz.
Yeah, can't wait. Am I supposed to talk more about this match?
At least give me a winner.
I think it's interesting that it's Bray Wyatt wrestling and not The Fiend. I am interested in seeing like how Bray Wyatt is different because I guess we're supposed to believe the Fiend is like the superhero who can't be killed. So like, is Bray Wyatt just like a normal dude? And if that's the case, like maybe you can sell Miz as a winner more than you typically would. Like, I want to see there be different mannerisms out of Bray Wyatt. Like, if he's no selling a bunch of shit like he does as the Fiend, then like, what's the point? It's the same dude. Like, you're not differentiating the two characters, and I'm led to believe they are like two separate people. So I think that's kind of the drawing point of this match. Like, I mean, Bray's gonna win. They're not gonna have fucking Miz win. I guess it's a non-title match, so maybe you can. I mean, maybe that's the gimmick. Is like, hey, Miz beat regular ass Bray Wyatt, so now the Fiend is coming to murder this man.
Yeah, so I guess like unless things change, as you said, this is supposed to be Bray Wyatt and it's supposed to be non-title. So it's Bray Wyatt and The Miz. And I'm really torn on it because, as you kind of mentioned, it's like, on one hand, I think you could create some fascinating character death with the duality of the personalities here. But then again, I have like absolutely no faith in WWE's creative writing or storytelling to properly do that. I mean, I hope they do. I hope I'm wrong, but
no, I'm with you because we remember back to the SummerSlam match, and you know the Fiend is trying to use Sister Abigail, but he gets like the voices in his head, and it fucks him up. And then that's when Balor took control, and then the Fiend turned back into the Fiend, and it's like, oh man, they're like, you can see the difference in the character. And then by the time he wrestles Seth Rollins, like he's just using Sister Abigail, and it's like not a big deal. And then he's like some superhero monster guy who nothing gets affected with him. So I don't have any confidence that they can tell this type of story.
Yeah, so obviously this is a stopgap feud until the quote-unquote new Daniel Bryan returns. Hopefully it's Daniel Bryan of ROH fame being bald with the cape. That'd be great.
I don't care which Daniel Bryan is. Just give me Daniel Bryan back. I assume he makes an appearance here and just, I don't know how, but I think he'll come out here and maybe he beats up Bray Wyatt and then the Fiend is coming out for revenge or something.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, though, Bray should be weaker in his non-Fiend form, which I suppose allows Miz to be somewhat creative here and not get steamrolled. I don't exactly have a lot of hopes for this. My only hope is that there's going to be no red lights during it. Yeah,
I hope that as well. Miz sucks as this babyface. Like, he's a good babyface. He's fine. He sucked. They've done nothing with him.
Jeremy, feuding with Shane McMahon will ensure he gets over. I was told that months ago.
Yeah, that worked.
All right, next up, a TLC match. It's the big dog Roman Reigns versus King Corbin. Now listen, I've been really critical of WWE's basically lack of ability or desire to evolve the Roman Reigns character, especially when he was coming back off of the leukemia thing. And I thought that not only is the story of him coming back and overcoming great, but I thought you could have freshened up his character a little bit. And they haven't done that. And
they have. He's an actual big dog now.
So, I mean, on one hand, I do appreciate that they didn't rush him back into just being a super top spot guy. Because number one, you need to let him time to get back into the swing of things, get back into the schedule. And you didn't want to run into those backlash issues. But on the other hand, he's kind of been just a guy. He doesn't, like, I like Roman. He's not, like, feeling like a star. And it's not on him. It's on the booking. It's just, like, the most interesting thing he's done since he's been back to me has been that Buddy Murphy match on SmackDown, which was great. And I just...
The Undertaker stuff was good.
Sure.
That was a good match.
It was fine. And then you got fucking King Corbin here, who people bought into as being a great worker that was always great following a couple good matches with Chad Gable. It's like, listen, he was wrestling Chad fucking Gable. Just because he put together a couple good matches does not mean the King Corbin was always a great fucking worker, because he wasn't and he isn't. That's not what it is. And also, it's like, why the fuck is this a TLC match?
Yeah, they're going after the dog food.
Why? First of all, that's stupid. Okay, yeah, Roman is really good in wild plunder stuff. I don't have a lot of faith with Corbin involved in a TLC match. Second of all, TLC matches are extremely hard to pull off in one-on-one matches. And add in that there's no real stipulation or stakes to the match, I don't feel like I should care. It's a fucking match. It's been built off of lame heel work by Corbin, involving chihuahua jokes, a fucking dog mascot, and dog food, while Roman Reigns looks like Jesus covered in shit on the post. It's a plunder no DQ match. I suppose that Corbin could, allegedly, he could win this because it's not a pin or whatever. I mean, it's not non-DQ and all that bullshit. You could have, I would say you could have Rude run in, but he's on a vacation.
It's going to be Bobby Roode in the dog mascot costume.
There you go. But it's like, you could have Corbin win, but I think that would be really dumb. I think Reigns should just win, destroy him. Hopefully it doesn't go too long, and get the big dog on track for WrestleMania season.
I think it'll be a good match. I'm not saying like great or anything, but they'll do enough smoke and mirrors. So Roman's good. I think everyone just accepts Roman's good, especially in like these kind of brawl plunder matches. Like Roman shines in these matches typically, and Corbin's been good this year. He's been fine. I shouldn't say good, but he's had some good matches this year, and I think he's another guy who can kind of shine in this little aspect where it's just like a lot of brawling. You do some cool looking spots. The crowd chants, "This is awesome" or "Holy shit," and you go from there. I'm kind of looking. I don't know how this is supposed to come off, but like I watched Corbin on WWE Backstage and I grew to like the guy. I think he's a fine, like, all right, the King Corbin stuff is whatever. Some of it's very cringeworthy, but I like Baron Corbin kind of as a person and his attitude. And so because of that, like I'm just kind of more willing to just accept that's who he is as a character almost as well. And I think he's fine. And I like Roman. I've always been a mark for, I'll use the term, a mark for like the top guys who are pushed really heavily, like John Cena, because John Cena is the GOAT. And so I like Roman as well. I don't know. I'm looking forward to sort of looking forward to this match, and I think it'll be fine. I think Reigns should win because you gotta give him this big victory here. You put him on the WrestleMania. You put him in the Royal Rumble. He wins that. We get the big dog back where he belongs at the top of the Mania card, baby.
Defeating the Fiend.
Sure, defeating everybody. He's the big dog. You do have to do something with this fucking mascot in this match, though. Like, I think that would be kind of a mistake. Like, if you're gonna do that stupid mascot gimmick, then you gotta run it back and you gotta have Roman like Superman punch him or something, because the crowd will pop for that. As dumb as it might seem, like the crowd will pop for that.
What if King Corbin tries to be a super smart dude and he actually has two giant furry big dogs at ringside? But then he gets foiled, and it's actually the Usos.
Sure, that's fine. I guess.
Don't know. They're gonna do something to try to cover it up, and at least they would do some entertaining shit.
I thought you said furry big dog. Like I thought you meant like actual dogs that he was gonna have at ringside.
Should have ran back Kennel in a Hell or whatever.
Yeah, I'd be fine with it. The dogs are shitting everywhere in that match.
All right, and then the other match on this card is another TLC match with the champions, the Kabuki Warriors versus Becky Lynch and Charlotte, Jeremy.
Yeah, this is the match that I am looking forward to, even though I have some gripes with like how we got to this point. But should be a great match. A TLC match, I guess, makes more sense because you're at least putting titles on the line. I really don't like the concept of, oh, this is our just monthly pay-per-view with the gimmick name, so we have to do these gimmick matches. I think it's kind of dumb, and I've always thought it's kind of dumb, but here we are. I think this match will be great. I'm really looking forward to it, and Ronda Rousey returns.
That is definitely a possibility. There have been a lot of rumors about that. I am going with the Kabuki Warriors retaining At the end of the match, Becky Lynch will be atop the ladder, Jeremy. She will be close to getting the championships. And then she gets fucking misted again. Or she gets misted here by Asuka. And that will set up the Royal Rumble title match with Asuka.
Yeah, possibly. I could certainly see that. We do need that Becky and Asuka one-on-one match. I do think the Kabuki Warriors win. My whole theory is, if you recall, last year at TLC, Ronda came out, tipped the ladder with Charlotte and Becky on it, and that allowed Asuka to win. And I think they call back that moment this year.
They very well could do that, and that would be a really good throwback. So I think we have good endings booked overall, Jeremy, either way.
Yeah, I'd assume this match headlines. I don't know why you would headline with anything else, honestly.
And here's the thing, too. I know people were down on the women main eventing following Survivor Series because the match was just there and it disappointed and stuff. But the thing is this is a little different because this one will have the added effort of all the gimmicks and stuff. And I also think that this match just has a way better chance of being really good than the triple threat match did.
This match also has Charlotte Flair.
Who?
Charlotte Flair.
Andrade's girlfriend. Oh, okay.
Sure. She's good. Like, let's be honest. Charlotte is... She's really fucking good. And I'm not saying, like, Becky, Asuka, and Kyrie aren't good, because they obviously are. Charlotte is just an absolute star, and she's kind of proven herself to be... There's a reason why they push her so much, because she's really good.
I've heard the name. Sounds familiar.
Big fan of Charlotte.
Yeah, heard the name. Sounds familiar. She might be okay. But no, seriously. I mean, I do think it'll be really good. It could be a great match because I think in that environment it'll just be really beneficial because not only just smoke and mirror wise, but you're gonna have a ton of stuff to play with. They're obviously gonna tease like Kyrie doing that elbow again, like she did on Raw. And I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this and Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy the most out of anything on this card.
I'm looking forward to the 2 TLC matches: the Big Dog and the King, and the Kabuki Man Queens.
Alrighty.
That's their team name, the Man Queens.
So you and Baron Corbin's mom are looking forward to the TLC match with them.
How dare you hate on Big Banter Baron Corbin?
Obviously, yeah. I have a hard time getting into the guy. I don't think he sucks by any means. And again, I agree he has some good matches this year. But I just hate that once somebody that is usually not that great has a couple good matches, all of a sudden they're like, we've been underrating him for years. He's been great this whole time. It's like, well, no, let's little perspective, guys. You know, he's fine. I don't think that's the case. I just think, hey, guys can improve, and I think he's improved. Well, no, and I'm not disagreeing with that again. But there is this like big narrative that all of a sudden he was great. It's like, keep a little perspective. I also think the other thing that hurts him is like, they give him some of the dirt fucking worst verbiage to read on screen. Yeah. I mean, they do that with a lot of people. Because I agree. Like, I've heard him do interviews and stuff, and he seems like an interesting fucking dude. And they showed clips of him beating the shit out of guys at Arizona Cardinals practices. Nice. I'm like, who was fucking with Big Banter over here? Like he was breaking down his fights that he was having in practice. Like, you got to uppercut him because, you know, they got a helmet on. But if you hit him with an uppercut, you're not as protected down there, and you can possibly knock the helmet off that way. Like, he knocked this dude's helmet off with an uppercut. Like Big Banter knows what he's doing. There you go. Shoot fighter Corbin, man. But yeah, no, he does seem like a really interesting dude from stuff I've seen on like the network and stuff. It's like some of that writing for a lot of these people is just so bad. It is not even bad in terms of this isn't how real people talk. It's just like, it's bad scripting for TV, period. You know, and I wish he had some better stuff to work with because he looks like an asshole. You can believe he's an asshole. And I think if he actually had some good dialogue to deliver, that he would be really effective. But the way that they portray him, I just find it really hard to care. And again, let me tell you, I'll give the guy credit, man. If they have a good match Sunday, I'll be the first to tell you because I'll be fucking thrilled. I don't want to watch shitty wrestling. You know, I mean,
great match on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're lying, but I mean, I think it can be good, but I'm not looking forward to it. And I hope it's not horribly overbooked either.
I mean, it's a TLC match. It's gonna be overbooked.
Yeah, well, hopefully Dolph stays away with his stupid fucking fox hat.
I just want the mascot. If I get a Superman punch on the mascot, it's a 10-star match from me.
Well, there you go. I mean, I'm fine with that. So that is a TLC, which takes place Sunday night. Jeremy and I will be back Sunday night. We will break down ROH Final Battle, NWA Into the Fire, as well as WWE TLC. So thank you guys for listening to the show. This was the 411 on Wrestling podcast. You can follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, 411mania.com, all major podcasting platforms. Please make sure to subscribe and share to the show. Or subscribe to the show, share us around on social media, just totally fucked that up. Anyway, have a good laugh at the end of the show. Thank you guys so much. Leave us a 5-star review, and we appreciate your time. Have a good week, and enjoy the weekend of wrestling.